Welcome to Archetypes of the East. Today we're looking at Hexagram 50, the Cauldron, the vessel. The cauldron is an alchemical vessel of great cultural and spiritual significance. An incredibly auspicious hexagram, it revolves around the sacred container used for preparing what is needed for the spiritual sustenance of the world. A complementary reflection of the communal aspect of the well, the cauldron's emphasis is on spiritual matters, development of culture, and the protection of precious resources necessary for collective advancement. The principle of this hexagram is spiritual refinement. Hexagram 50 represents the tang, or the cauldron. The structure is fire over wood. In nature, this is the wood feeding the flame under the vessel, while hexagram 48, the well, provided the raw water of life. Hexagram 50 provides the cooked nourishment of culture. This is the strategy of high value. It teaches that the ultimate goal of any change is to create a sacred container where raw ingredients are transformed into a sacred feast. In the I Ching, the cauldron was a bronze vessel with 3 to 4 legs and 2 ears or handles. It represents stability and unity. The oracle says, "You are no longer just surviving, you are refining." The cauldron is your mind, your organization, or your family. Your task is to take the raw meat of experience and through the fire of your intelligence, turn it into something that feeds the spirit. There is a subtle warning against vulgarity. The cauldron is not a common pot, it's a ritual object. If you have revolutionized your life like in Hexagram 40, don't fill your new space with garbage. Protect your time, your focus, and your integrity. The oracle emphasizes that collective advancement only happens when the sacred container is kept pure and strong. In career, this is moving from technical skill, the ingredients, to thought leadership, the actual feast. You are creating a culture that nourishes your team. In relationships, it's the transmutation of shared history into a shared spiritual connection that sustains both partners. The fire is lit. What are you feeding it? The key or energy of this hexagram is golden, elevated, and nourishing. The atmosphere of hexagram 50 is auspicious and very ceremonial. It feels like the aroma of a masterfully cooked meal. It's inviting, sophisticated, and deeply satisfying. This is the hexagram that values quality over quantity. The image of hexagram 50 states, fire over wind, fire over wood, the image of the cauldron. The superior person consolidates their fate by making their position correct. The wood or wind trigram gently and persistently feeds the fire, the outer trigram. This is sustainable energy. You don't burn everything at once. You provide a steady flow of character to maintain the light. The cauldron stands on 3 legs, sometimes 4, it just depends. This represents triple stability, the balance of mind, body, and spirit, or leader, team, and vision. When the position is correct, the success is automatic. The judgment of hexagram 50 states, the cauldron, there is supreme good fortune and success. In the I Ching, the cauldron is the only man-made object to have a hexagram named after it. It teaches that while nature provides the well, humanity provides the vessel that turns raw nature into civilization. This is the strategy of high-level synthesis. In the I Ching, the ting transforms raw meat into a delicious stew. Psychologically, this is the strategy of integration. You're taking your disparate experiences, the desires and ideals that you have, and boiling them down into a single potent essence. The oracle says, stop rushing the result and focus on the flavor of the process. Supreme success comes when you stop producing commodities and start creating masterpieces. The I Ching inquires directly about what nourishes your soul. This is a warning about spiritual anemia. If you're working for money or status alone, your cauldron is empty. To reach supreme good fortune, you must fill your vessel with high-quality nourishment, books, deep dialogue, and genuine connections. You cannot feed others if your own vessel is running dry. In career, this is the brand of integrity. It's the commitment to depth and complexity over speed and volume. In relationships, it's the creation of rituals and customs, the shared meals of the soul that create a sense of belonging. Don't just finish the task, bless the task with quality. This is the hexagram of quality. It's the realization that excellence is the only safe bet. The I Ching says, "The revolution gave you the kitchen, but the cauldron gives you the feast. You're being called to move from quantity to quality. Your success is now tied to your aesthetic and your depth. Stop serving raw ideas and cook them until they are nourishing for everyone. When your brand or your style or your aesthetic and your character become one, you will achieve supreme good fortune." A changing line 1. The cauldron is overturned and not in use for now. It furthers one to get rid of deposits and old stagnating things to be cleaned. Unconventional solutions should be made for the sake of the future. Like in ancient times, a concubine would be taken for the sake of an heir. There is no blame in this. Line 1 is at the very bottom of the inner trigram of wood. Before the fire can be lit, the vessel has to be prepared. This is the strategy of radical purgation. It teaches that the sacred cannot coexist with what is stagnant. In the I Ching, a cauldron with its legs in the air is useless for cooking, but perfect for scrubbing. The oracle says, "Do not mistake inactivity for failure." You are currently in a maintenance phase where you're dumping out bad ideas or negative influences that have crusted over from your past. This cleaning is the prerequisite for the supreme success promised in the judgment. One should prioritize purpose of one's goals over what its form may eventually take in the end. The metaphor of the concubine is about success through non-traditional means. If the standard way, the matriarch, isn't producing a result, an heir, you must be willing to use unorthodox methods. The oracle says, "Be a pragmatist but not a snob." If your unconventional tool or partner gets the creative endeavor back on track, use it. There is no blame in being practical when the future is at stake. In career, this is the pivot where you scrap a project that isn't working to rework and refine the core concept of it. In relationships, it's letting go of how things look and focus on how they actually feel. Empty the pot so that you can fill it with something even better. This is the line of the internal audit. It's the realization that high performance requires low friction. The I Ching says, "Your cauldron is currently not in use because it's being purified. You're getting rid of the deposits and old habits that have become stagnant. Don't worry about appearances or social norms right now. If you have an unconditional method or an unorthodox partner, and that's what is needed to secure your future, take it. Your goals are more important than your ego. Scrub the vessel clean, the feast is coming shortly." A changing line 2. The cauldron has good contents inside it. My comrades are envious, but they cannot harm me. Good fortune. This line is talking about defending abundance. Line 2 is the central strong position of the inner wood trigram. The cleaning of line 1 has been rewarded. The cauldron is now loaded. This is the strategy of quiet contentment. It teaches that when you are truly full, spiritually, intellectually, or professionally, the envy of others is merely background noise. You possess great qualities that may provoke jealousy. In the I Ching, a full cauldron attracts attention. If you have food, which could be skills, wisdom, or resources, people who are hungry or lacking will naturally feel envious. The oracle says success is a magnet for both friends and foes. Your good fortune lies in the fact that your value is internalized. It can't be stolen or undermined because it is part of who you are. When the line says that your comrades cannot harm you, this is a reminder of spiritual immunity. Envy only hurts if you drink it. If you stay focused on the feast that you are preparing, the hostility of others has no handle to grab onto. The oracle suggests, don't waste your energy defending your light. Just keep burning. In career, this is the solo project that is going so well that it makes colleagues nervous. Keep your head down and finish it. In relationships, it's the personal growth that makes old comrades feel left behind. Remind yourself of your unique strengths and let your good contents speak for themselves. This is the line of immunity of excellence. It's the realization that jealousy is just unpaid praise. The I Ching says your cauldron is full. You have great qualities that others find provocative. Because your value is secure, their attempts to undermine you will fail. Don't play their game. Set clear boundaries by simply continuing to focus on your work. Your good fortune comes from the fact that you have the food and they don't. Stay full and persevere. A changing line 3. One has initial difficulty because they are unacknowledged or unrecognized, as if the cauldron's handle has been altered. its movement blocked and the great contents within it not enjoyed. When the reign of new circumstances arrives, initial regrets will vanish. There will be good fortune. Line 3 is at the top of the inner trigram of wood, butting against the outer trigram of fire. The heat is there, the food is ready, but the mechanism of delivery is broken. This is the strategy of necessary patience. It teaches that value without access is just a test of character. In the I Ching, pheasant fat represents the highest quality, most nutritious part of the meal. You aren't just holding scraps, you're holding a masterpiece. However, because the handle of the cauldron is altered, you are unacknowledged or unrecognized. The oracle says the world isn't ready to carry what you've cooked. This isn't a failure of your quality, it's a failure of the infrastructure around you. Do not attempt to force movement at this time. If you try to carry a heavy boiling cauldron with broken handles, you'll burn yourself and you'll spill the pheasant fat within. The oracle warns against desperate marketing or forced connections. If people don't see the value yet, patience is your only rational move. An external benevolent force will eventually intervene. The rain here represents a change in the collective atmosphere, a cooling of tensions, or a shift in luck. In career, this is the superior product that is being ignored because of bad marketing timing. Wait for the cycle to turn. In relationships, it's the deep love that can't be expressed because the other person is currently blocked. Let the rain of new circumstances fix the handles of the situation. This is the line of the soft start. It's the realization that distribution is as important as creation. The I Ching says you're currently impeded because the handle of your life or project is altered in some way. You have pheasant fat, something of high value, ready to go, but it's unrecognized and unenjoyed. Stop trying to force the world to taste your work. You're in a bottleneck for now. Wait for the rain of new circumstances to clear the path. When the environment shifts, your regrets will vanish and your value will finally be consumed. Stay patient. The help is on its way. A changing line 4. The foundation fails and the cauldron's legs are broken. The work done for those that needed it most is undone, as if their meal is overturned and scattered. A mess is made, and it's as if all parts of them are soiled. Great misfortune. This line is talking about the failure of capability. Line 4 is in the transition in the outer trigram of fire. Here, the heat of your ambition has outpaced the strength of your foundation. This is the strategy of the false peak. It teaches that taking on a sacred duty without the experience to hold it is an act of unconscious sabotage. In the I Ching, this is the ultimate embarrassment, unfortunately. You were cooking for the king, the highest purpose, but you used a cauldron with weak legs. The oracle says good intentions cannot reinforce a weak structure. When you collapse at this level, the nourishment is lost to everyone and the mess is public. You are soiled, meaning your reputation is fundamentally stained by your lack of preparedness. It's as if one is promoted to the level of their own incompetence. This is a warning against over-leveraging. You may have the title, but if you lack the basic skills or ethics required for the assignment, the foundation will inevitably fail. At this stage of the cauldron, dropping the ball results in a profound failure because the stakes are no longer just personal, they're collective. In career, this is the manager who takes a promotion that they aren't ready for and destroys the team's morale. In relationships, it's making sacred promises that you don't have the emotional maturity to keep. Step back if your legs are shaking. It's better to delay the feast than to spill it everywhere. This is the line of the ultimate reality check. It's the realization that ambition without infrastructure is a liability. The I Ching says your foundation has failed. You took on a sacred responsibility that was too heavy for your current stability. Because you were unqualified for the task, the meal is scattered and your reputation is soiled. This is a great misfortune because others were relying on you. Good help isn't enough. Competence is the only thing that could have saved this. Clean up the mess and go back to line 1 to rebuild the legs of your stability. A changing line 5. One has the highest value and strength of exercising modesty as if they were a cauldron with yellow handles and golden carrying rings. Perseverance is advantageous. This line is talking about accessible high value. Line 5 is the ruler's position in the outer trigram of fire. Having learned from the collapse of line 4, you have now reinforced the vessel with the yellow of moderation and the gold of strength. This is the strategy of the middle path. It teaches that the most sacred ideas are useless if they cannot be carried into the world. True authority is balanced and accessible to everyone. In the I Ching, yellow is the color of the earth and of the center. It represents a humble disposition. Gold here represents the highest value. The oracle says your value is now portable. Because you have matched your inner substance with a fair and effective exterior, people are now willing to carry your goals with you. You no longer have to push. You are being supported. There is a reminder here that reaching the top isn't the end. It's the beginning of service. The golden carrying rings are meant for movement. You must continue to follow the middle path to ensure that your invention or revelation continues to nourish the community without becoming stagnant or arrogant. In career, this is the executive presence, where your expertise is undeniable, but your ego is invisible. In relationships, it's the deep wisdom that is offered with such gentleness that it is easily accepted. The foundation is reinforced. Your art is ready for the world. This is the line of the sustainable lead. It's the realization that reliability is the highest form of brilliance. The I Ching says, you've achieved a significant milestone. You are now perfectly equipped with the yellow handles of modesty and the gold-carrying rings of strength. Because your leadership is fair, others are ready to carry your vision forward. Don't let your success make you rigid. Stay balanced and accessible. Your knowledge is now a sacred offering that brings great fortune to all. Perseverance in this middle path brings great good fortune. A changing line 6. One has immense intellectual and spiritual mastery, as if they were a cauldron with rings made of jade. Great good fortune. There is nothing that does not further the endeavor. Line 6 is the highest point in the fire trigram. While the gold of line 5 is the metal of the ruler, jade is the stone of the sage. It's tougher than metal but feels soft and gentle. This is the strategy of total alignment. It teaches that when your inner purity matches your outer strength, the universe stops resisting you and begins to assist you. In the I Ching, jade represents the union of hardness and kindness. The oracle says you have become weatherproof. Because your fortitude is rooted in purity rather than ego, you can no longer be corrupted or broken. You have reached the highest possible state of cultivation, where your mere presence provides sacred nourishment to everyone around you. One's actions no longer need effort or force because they have embraced their alignment. This is the state of Wu Wei, doing without forcing. If you find yourself still pushing or fighting for your goals, you're still in the gold of line 5. At the jade level, you move with the flow of reality. The great good fortune comes because you are no longer working against the grain of your life. In career, this is the legacy phase where your work becomes a pure and reliable source for future generations. In relationships, it's the unconditional love that nourishes others without depleting yourself. Everything you undertake now is furthering because you are acting in harmony with the divine. This is the line of the mastery state. It's the realization that gentleness is the ultimate power. The I Ching says you have reached a spiritual milestone. Your cauldron is now adorned with jade, meaning that your intellectual mastery is matched by your purity of intent. There is nothing that does not further your endeavor because you have entered your flow. You are a lasting and reliable source of nourishment for the world. Stop forcing and start being. Your supreme good fortune is now a permanent part of your character. That completes Hexagram 50. I hope you liked the video if you found it helpful in understanding this hexagram. Subscribe to follow the series along, and next we'll look at Hexagram 51, the arousing shock, thunder. See you then.